bitch. Hi guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. And today's video is going to be a little bit different than my normal YouTube video because obviously we're in my lovely abode, my house, mi casa. Yes, it's all warm and cozy as you can see. But no, that is not why we're here today. We're here today because I'm here to discuss something that I've been living with my whole entire life and something that affects me every single day. Atopic dermatitis. Yes. Round of applause. Yes. No, we don't like her. She is annoying. She's like that little sister you have, you know. You love her. She's there. You can't get rid of her. I'm just kidding. I'm not comparing any of these diseases to a little sister. It's terrible. Scratch that. Get rid of that. Today we're going to discuss that and how I deal with it in the hair industry. I was born with eczema. I suffer from eczema. I suffered with eczema my whole life.
I suffered for 19 years. It's time for me to shake my ass on a yacht. In a thong.
I suffered with it as a child. Through holistic measures, my parents were able to subside the reaction a lot, which it didn't affect me up until my recent adult ages, again, when I started having flare-ups. To combat that as a child, my parents used to change up my diet because anybody who has eczema knows it's directly affected to diet, stress, even outdoor climate changes. It's just anything and everything that could be a trigger triggers eczema. Going back, so my parents were able to combat my eczema as a child with they didn't feed me certain things like chocolate, anything with high caffeine concentrates, anything that was acidic like tomatoes, oranges. I didn't eat meat I ate meat up until my adult ages. But when I was a child, they would switch over to less harsh meats like chicken, sometimes turkey, but people know turkey can be a little bit on the higher sodium side, which is a no. And then they would lather me up with this nice bad boy shea butter. This is my holy girl. They would just lather me in this every single night, and with that I was able to kind of, I don't want to say heal, but it wasn't like a problem for me, you know, as a kid. Any hairstylists in general, we have wet hands a lot, not just sweat or anything gross like that. Wet hands as in we wash hair a lot, we have products, we're constantly dealing with things that are wet or chemical based or just products in general, right? By having wet hands, we create an overload of this washing and drying our hands, trying to get rid of that wetness or whatever, trying to, you know, service our clients, especially if you're a full-time hairstylist. I believe the percentage is between 10 and 20% of all hairstylists get this. So this isn't anything unheard of, especially my fellow braiders. I know I get questions and comments on my Instagram of how I deal with this on a regular. My hands were bad. I didn't realize what was going on until I started to do a little bit of research. Because I have eczema as an underlying condition, this is why now I'm dealing with it as an adult and as a hairstylist. So by the constant washing, drying the hands, and if you're like me, who's a booked and busy stylist in multiple states and country, little self-flex, you are dealing with books that have between 5 and 10 people every single day. Because I wash and blow dry every single one of my clients, that's at least 10 times a day that I am washing my hands. My hands begin to dry out to the point they started cracking, to which led to one finger. It started with one finger, and then it was 2 finger, and then the wintertime it got dry, and then I made it worse, and then it was a whole hand, and then I didn't know what was going on, and I'm just like, oh my god. It got to the point where my hands would actually swell up. They would dry out, and then if I would even do simple movements like this, they would split open and bleed. And then I would have to braid with these products going into these open wounds. Now they're burning and are hurting, and it was just a cycle. And I was like, oh my god, what can I do What can I do to help? And people will be like, just wear gloves, you'll be fine. No, that made it worse too, because with the glove you get moisture in here, and the moisture doesn't dry, and it then causes like infections, right? Gloves, finger condoms were not an option. To which then now, I was blessed enough to still be under my parents' insurance at the time. I resorted to Dupixent. Dupixent is a wonderful medication. However, it only treats the reaction. It doesn't treat the problem. As of right now, there is no cure to atopic dermatitis. It is just something I just have to live with and monitor for the rest of my life. It's not crippling. I've seen people who have it way worse than me, and I'm just blessed to have it on my hands, but it is just something that you just have to deal with for right now, and just, you know. Before I educated myself and re-educated myself, I just switched to the drug. The drug was 2 300 milligram shots that I have to take every 2 weeks over the course of a couple years, which was fine. Treated the issue. I was able to braid again. I was able to essentially live my life with pretty fingers again. Getting kicked off of my parents' insurance and the medicine, anybody who takes Dupixent knows this medicine is expensive as balls. Knowing that, I was just like, you know what? I have to figure out something, because my parents were able to get me, they were able to make it so that I didn't need to take medicine as a kid. Let me see if I can do that as an adult. So my hands do look like this today. As you can see, I still have some little dry spots here and there, but I am completely drug-free, and I was able to heal myself with simple measures. I still have some flare-ups here and there, but I'm happy to report it's not as bad as the pictures. For starters, I still wash and blow dry all my clients if they want it. That's a service I provide. I'm a hairstylist. If you want it, I got you. I'm not going to tell you no because of my own, you know what I'm saying? So the way I combat this at work, I was able to take this. It's not medicine, it is lotion. It is a water-based lotion, not like this. This is what I put on my body at night. I put this on every single night. As you can see, I'm due for a re-up soon. But this is 100% African shea butter, and this is Renew. It is for sensitive skin, so it's not just for eczema, psoriasis, any kind of rash, anything you got going on, this is good for it. I do believe you need a membership for it. I get it through my mother, but I know this is significantly cheaper than, you know, the drug, right? Anytime my hands are wet and then dried at the shop. So every time I go to the bathroom, wash my hands. Anytime I wash the hair and then dry it. Anytime my hands are wet and then dry at the shop, I put this on immediately after. I take just a couple seconds, put it on, I'm good to go, right? That helped me out significantly. And then again, I put this on every single night. Right before, literally like right before I close my eyes, I just go to sleep. These are the only 2 topicals that I ever use ever. Then I made changes to my diet. So I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, I don't want to stop eating. Especially, trust me, I'm the first person to be like, yo, I like the next person love a good pizza. What does pizza have? Tomatoes. Tomatoes are very acidic. I try to avoid tomatoes at all costs, but let's be for real. I'm not gonna pass up a good New York slice if the opportunity arises. So I do avoid things like any processed or refined sugars. I don't eat any wheat that is white. So no white bread, no white rice, pasta with a grain of salt, you know what I'm saying? Puerto Rican, so we allow rice and beans. So we get the brown rice only, right? Avoid all whites, anything acidic. So tomatoes, and oranges and lemons and stuff like that, I try to eat in moderation. I've also switched to an alkaline diet for the most part when I first got off the drug. So the Dupixent itself, if you need it, don't let me sway you from not doing what you need to do. If you need it, you can afford it, boom. That is the way to go, because Dupixent helped me out a lot. It helped me for 2 years so that I could focus on hair rather than my skin. It completely healed my hands. It was a beautiful medicine, but now that I'm off of it, I wanted to find a holistic measure and what worked for me. I don't want to rely on a drug for forever. Let's be for real. Nobody does. So I did this. This is working for me, and I just wanted to help people. So alkaline diet consists of like bases. So if I did eat fruit, it was berries. It wasn't anything acidic or tropical, right? So I ate a lot of strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, plums, stuff of that nature. I switched to green vegetables, so green beans, lots of greens, water-based vegetables as well, so like lots of cucumbers. I also, like I said, no refined sugars or processed wheats. So I ate a lot of brown rice during that time. I am vegetarian, so I've been vegetarian for close to 5, maybe 6 years. So I don't eat meat anyways. If you do eat meat, I would say, you know, stay towards the cleaner meats like chicken. Chicken is fine, you know what I'm saying? If you do eat red meat, eat it in moderation. I'd say avoid pork altogether. You know, I know people love their bacon, but I would avoid it altogether because there's just too many things that could happen that could cause a trigger. So I would avoid that. I work all day, 12, 15 hours a day, every single day. So because of that, I don't really have time to stop and eat. So if I did bring snacks, I ate a lot of those yogurt type parfaits. Those are good. Yogurts are great for the skin and your body in general. And then bananas, lots of bananas, lots of peanut butter. They are rice cake chips, crisp. Those, I messed those up. I ate a whole bag in one sitting. It's great. It's beautiful. Ate a lot of that. Drank a lot of tea. That's just pretty much how I cleaned up my diet. I know somebody's like, oh my God, that is so boring. But sometimes you got to make the necessary sacrifices in order to kind of live a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So those are kind of, and I naturally eat on the cleaner side, but those are some of the changes I made. And I only did it for a month. So I did it for a month just to kind of aggressively combat the fact that my skin was getting used to being off of this drug. So did that for a month before I started reintroducing things to my diet and kind of figuring out what was a trigger for my skin and what's not a trigger for my skin. I stopped drinking. I wasn't a big drinker before. I would socially drink. So if me and my girls go out to brunch or whatever, I would have a pretty drink, you know, the cocktails. I would have one of those, or I'd have, you know, something of the sort, maybe 1 or 2 tops. But alcohol stopped being it was never a good thing. And then when I got off the drugs, it made it worse. So I was like, you know what? We just gonna cut her out anyway. So I don't drink. I get now mocktails. So anybody who sees my Instagram and sees a nice pretty drink, there's no alcohol in it. It is just overpriced juice. And even then, I do have a sweet tooth, so cutting out the sugar was very hard for me, but in moderation. So if I do have a sugar now, it is a fraction. So if I order something with my friends, I share it, and it's only a fraction of it, just enough to combat my sweet tooth. And then I'm like, all right, I'm good. We'll say it's November, because it technically is. It's November. I've been off of it since April. So granted, I'm still figuring this out myself, but for the most part, I've been able to be drug-free, and this is how I'm handling it, and it has worked for me thus far, and I believe it'll continue to work. So another thing too, stress. Guys, we gotta stay stress-free. So stress is like the number one trigger. The number one trigger of this. So then I cleaned out a good amount of clients that were stressing me out, because listen, you're not finna, I love what I do with the passion. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I can't specify that enough. But if you are going to stress me out about doing your hair, goodbye. I'm sorry. Goodbye. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't sacrifice my hands anymore to make y'all look pretty if you're going to stress me out. I can't do it. So, I started getting massages pretty regularly. Help out with some of that stress, you know. Going to church. Give it to God. You feel me? God, give it to God. Give it to God. God help me. So give it to God. You know, that helps out with my stress a lot. Exercise, ladies, exercise. I can't emphasize this enough. I am a runner. So that is my number one stress reliever. But find something to release this stress, because if you harbor it in your body, trust me, you can harbor it in your body and it stays, and then your skin itches, and we don't want that. So got rid of the stress. And I do believe that is it for the most part. So those are the things that I am currently doing to try to combat my eczema. And like I said, it's been working for me, and I just wanted to share some tips with you guys. If you have any more questions, please message me directly. I have dropped my Instagram below, which has all my information on it. You can feel free to send me a DM. I would say text me, but sometimes people abuse that, so don't do that if you're gonna abuse that. But yes, so if you have any more questions, please let me know. I believe I did cover everything. Am I missing something? Make sure you're washing your hands with non-fragranted soap. I know Bath and Body Works has these wonderful, beautiful smelling soaps. They buy them all the time at the shop. They smell great. They are wonderful. They are the worst things to wash your hands with when you have eczema because of the fragrances and chemicals. Avoid lotions. Avoid things that have fragrances like that because it is alcohol, and what does alcohol do? It dehydrates. So we try to avoid that. I hope I helped somebody out there. Like I said, please contact me if you have any more questions. I'm happy to help. I love answering you guys. I love when you DM me with questions. I just love it. I do. Maybe not everybody's like that, but if you love talking to me, I love talking to you. I would just want to help somebody. So until my next video, thank you so much for listening to me ramble for about 20 minutes about, you know, trying to help with skin and all the sorts. So, this is the outro, so I'm still talking. Thank you so much for watching my video. I love you guys so much, and until the next video, bye.